Hi, I'm Dr. Montani. We're continuing our series on Candida, leaky gut. This is the third in the series on physiology, how the small changes lead to big problem. This is a severe fungal growth taken from a colonoscopy. We see these huge white plaques throughout the colon right here. When anyone gets to this stage, their health is in serious trouble, real serious trouble. And the reason why, we're going to cover that. This is a micrograph picture, a microscopic picture of what the microvilli look like. On the top, we have normal, healthy microvilli. On the bottom, they're totally atrophied. This atrophy is linked to celiac disease, which is a chronic issue of eating foods that people are intolerant to, that they either don't know they're intolerant to or don't care that they're intolerant to. And it doesn't make sense why someone would keep doing something that destroys their health and not care about it. So, one of the big issues with celiac disease is gluten sensitivity, gluten toxicity. One of the real reasons why wheat is toxic is because of the way our food chain has changed in America. Now, presently, just before harvest, they spray most of our grain crops with Roundup, glyphosate. And they do that to try and control the harvest. It makes it so they can kill the plant, so all the nutrients drive up into the seed, and everything becomes basically ripe enough to harvest all at the same time. At the same time, it puts Roundup in our food supply. And the Roundup, it destroys the gut lining, destroys the normal healthy gut flora, and that sets up the scenario for pathogens to start to grow. When we look at feeding, this is the common scenario that we have in most of the infants in our country. Somehow, big business convinced women that they weren't made right. They couldn't produce things that they were designed to produce, which is healthy milk for their infants. And they convinced them that convenience was better than the way God designed them. The formulas never have the proper nutrients in them to feed children when they're made commercially. There's all kinds of different reasons why that. Sometimes you have to make a custom formula for a child, and we've done that, and the children flourish when they do that, but it has to be done in a custom way. This is the way women were designed and the way infants were designed to feed. This does a huge amount. It gives infants food, a food supply. When a mom is eating properly, that's way healthier. It gives the infant the mother's passive immunity as far as that goes. So it really sets the child up to grow properly. When we look again at a microscopic slide, this is what the microvilli look like on a slide. On the right or on the left side, we have very healthy microvilli with really long fingers, and the basal layer underneath that is not that thick. On the right side, we have a very thickened basal layer full of all kinds of inflammatory byproducts, and the microvilli are gone. There's no surface area for the microbiota or the flora to grow in, and we've lost the bulk of the surface area for absorption to occur. It's highly inflammatory and very leaky lining. The leaking occurs in two different ways. This is a picture of tight junctions. Tight junctions are made up by some very specialized proteins. Zonulin is one of those. And those proteins make something very much like Velcro that sticks the cells together that line the gut. The lining of the gut is only one cell layer thick. That's all. when chronic inflammatory issues are going on inside the gut lining, those tight junctions start to open up and allows things to pass straight through into the bloodstream. With that, whole proteins get into the bloodstream, bacteria get into the bloodstream, viral issues get into the bloodstream, pathogenic issues like Candida and parasites can get into the bloodstream. Hopefully the liver can catch those, but that's not always the case when this becomes a severe leaky problem. So we have the same tight junctions in the brain that we have in the gut. And studies show that within 2 hours, if you disrupt the tight junctions in the gut, the tight junctions in the brain start to leak. And vice versa, within 2 hours, if you disrupt the tight junctions in the brain through some type of trauma like a concussion, the gut starts to leak. They're highly reactive and highly associated between the two. This is a fungal form of Candida. All these cottony-looking, feathery-looking, hairy projections coming off the fungal body, those are mycelia. And with the mycelia, those are feeding tubules. One of the biggest problems with mycelia is made up of chitin. Chitin is the same thing that makes up the exoskeletons or the outside shells of most of our bugs, things like crickets and beetles and all that. So the chitin is impervious to our immune system. It blocks all of our immune function. So the immune system cannot deal with chitin. There's no way for it to do it. Once it's there, it's there. And there has to be ways to pull the chitin out. As that chitin starts to grow, all the feeding tubules like this continue to grow. It's like hundreds, if not thousands, potentially millions of cricket legs or beetle legs piercing your gut wall, causing chronic inflammatory issues, making it leak like a sieve. Whenever there's an abnormal leaking of bacterial parts into the bloodstream through the gut, it starts to create hyperimmune reactions that can lead to autoimmunity. This is typically through the LPS or lipopolysaccharides, the part of the gram-negative bacteria that escape a leaking gut wall. Overwhelm the liver becomes overwhelmed. It can't catch all of those. Once those spill systemically, it creates these hyperreactive immune responses that can lead into autoimmunity. So the reason why that occurs is this is a slide right here of the blood return coming out of the gut. If you notice, all the blood supply returns from the gut goes straight into the liver. It doesn't go anywhere before that. It goes to the liver because the liver has some very important jobs. Its job is first to catch and destroy all the bacteria and pathogens that come out of the gut. It does that through immune function. It does that mostly through the Kupffer cells, and it has to do that to keep us healthy. The liver is also supposed to store our food sources. It stores carbs. It turns them into starches called glycogen. It also stores proteins, and it stores oils. The glycogen storage that the liver has will give us typically less than a half an hour of energy through that source. It also makes sugar from protein when we're stressed. The adrenal glands liberate protein from our muscles. That goes back to the liver. It turns on glycogen within the glycolysis within the liver, and that makes sugars. It's supposed to clear the body of toxins, and it's also supposed to make bile. The bile is how the liver excretes the toxins. Bile is breakdown products of your blood. As it gets recycled, With that, it digests our fats. It also gives us all the pigments in our stools. So it's huge what that does. So if you like this, hit the like button down below, subscribe to our channel. We're going to be coming back with lots of videos like this.